अच्छा. A very warm welcome to all our alumni who have joined from all over the world. I hope you can hear us, and if you can't, you cannot hear us. Hello and welcome to this evening's interaction with Professor Suman Chakraborty, our new director. I hope you can hear us. A warm welcome to all of you. Professor Chakraborty will join very soon. Thank you. Good evening. We are ready to start our session with our new director, Professor Suman Chakraborty. I request Professor Chakraborty to kindly come to the stage.
Namaskar. Good evening here and good morning somewhere, good afternoon somewhere, because we have quite a few members of our what we call as IIT Kharagpur family, commonly alumni, and many students who are currently on vacation, many faculty members, and collectively all the brilliant minds who call IIT Kharagpur as their intellectual home. From our tireless faculty to staff, to our very bright-eyed students. Today, of course, because of the summer vacation, most of the students, except the research students, are out of campus. Our outstanding alumni, and for me, most importantly, many quiet heroes of the campus who make this place run even when the campus network, power supply or other essentials do not work. So collectively, at least whenever I am addressing you all, together it is IIT KGP family, and by IIT KGP family I define everybody equally without any difference in importance or role. Today we first thought of making it interactive, but from the database it seems that about 50,000 people from different parts are there. Therefore, it will ideally not be so good to make it fully interactive, because I do not know, I mean, then past midnight this program will go on, that we do not want. So to make it still interactive implicitly, what I tried to do is to gather the views of different people who are parts of this family and try to consolidate in the form of something, not in a very structured manner, to present in front of you all. So for that purpose I have made some points and notes, and this is unlike how I teach. Usually for teaching I do not see any notes, but at the same time I realize that I must cover the important points, so something is there in front of me in forms of sentences, points, words, etc., and I will try to build upon that to make the best job out of it. Having said that, I realize that in this way we will have a structured conversation, although you will feel it's like one way, but you will recognize that it's not actually one way. It's also reflecting the sentiments and feelings of many of you who may not be in a position to interact directly. It is with profound humility and deep sense of responsibility I am standing before you all today. not as the director of IIT Kharagpur as a designation, but as your new servant and facilitator, serving the office of the director of IIT Kharagpur, a place that has not only shaped the story of modern India, but one that continues to script the future of our nation and the world. It feels a bit like being handed the keys to a spacecraft designed by legend, engineered with dreams, but ready to launch into uncharted galaxies. Except this one comes with sparkling brilliance in relaxation, rain-soaked corridors. I was just seeing the rain-soaked corridors as I was coming. And of course, we have enough of acronyms to start our own dictionary of IIT KGP family. I would like to thank all of you, my parents, my family members, wife, son, all the colleagues, all my teachers, starting from those who have taught me from junior school to the highest level of education, my students, research scholars and other students, starting from them to my nominators for this position, the government, the search cum selection committee members, and several distinguished alumni who kept their faith on me for executing this responsibility. I imagine that this role is not just about wearing the convocation robe. Our convocation is coming, so this is the first thing that is coming to my mind. I have seen always the directors, one of the very important jobs is to wear the convocation robe and do some rituals, or mastering the mysterious art of ribbon cutting and putting plaques, etc., or doing administration without academician's heart. I know that I am to do some administration, but by heart I am an academician, and this is the first thing that I would like to emphasize upon. All of us learn many things in life. One of our very senior teachers, he got the position of maybe the principal, I cannot remember exactly, or maybe the director of a private institute after he retired from his previous position. So as his former student, and he wanted some help from me, this was in very early career. So I went forward and tried to help him to establish that. And I said that, sir, it is great that you have become the head of this institution, and I am feeling so proud about him. In turn, what he said is that I don't think it matters the most. And he gave me an example. We were talking about the legendary academicians of the St. Xavier's College of Kolkata, just as an example. And he said, he just asked me, can you remember one of the great principals of St. Xavier's College? I was quite familiar of the St. Xavier's College because I was a student of St. Lawrence High School, which is a part of the same Jesuit family. So, but I could not remember the name of any sort of principal who would be remembered forever. Then he asked me that, do you know the name of Father Gore? I said, yes. He said that he is such a legendary mathematics teacher who is remembered across generations. So then I realized that for us as academicians, it is perhaps more important to strive towards being a Father Gore who will be remembered as an academician across generations, rather than being remembered as an administrator whose main job is to sit with the sticks and put punishment on people. So I would not like to be like that. I would rather consider this about stewarding a legacy while unlocking a future where excellence is not an exception but an expectation. Einstein once said that education is not the learning of facts, and we have to recognize this more and more as we get into an era where thanks to ChatGPT or any other forum, facts are much well represented by automated systems than teachers. But the training of mind to think, this is what Einstein told at a time when there was no such AI conceived. So that is our North Star, training ourselves, not just our students, to think, question, reimagine, and of course occasionally fix anything and everything that tends to go wrong, starting from electricity to campus network to human-centric issues. IIT Kharagpur is not merely an institution. It is an idea, a vision, a promise. Born in the crucible of India's independence movement, it carries the mandate to build a nation through knowledge. There are many ways in which nation can be built, but I think that we are mandated to build the nation by knowledge, and not just knowledge, innovation, and human excellence. That vision is more relevant today than ever before, more than what it was when India became independent. IIT Kharagpur is not just India's first IIT, it is the first line of code in our national imagination for what science, technology, and education can truly achieve, particularly in the eve of its Platinum Jubilee year. Born from the vision of post-independent India and nurtured in the historic halls of the Hijli detention camp, it has stood not only as the temple of learning, but also as a living monument of courage, freedom, and forward thinking, which faced temporary hiccups at some points of time, but only to emerge as stronger and more adaptive to the emerging world than ever before. I believe that all of us who are here together, maybe physically or online, would resonate with the spirit. IIT Kharagpur is not a finished story. It is a living manuscript, and we all are the authors of this manuscript. As I told you that on interaction with several stakeholders, I have jotted down something, and I am taking the privilege in sharing with you a few pointers which I believe we can build upon together to make it all happen. Point number 1. Institutions like ours are a bit like families, and that is why I called this gathering IIT KGP family. Usually brilliant family, occasionally dysfunctional, but here is our magic. Our strength lies in our differences. All of us don't agree to the same thing, but that is our strength, our debates and our diversities. Whether some professor is decoding a protein structure, or instead of decoding a structure, structuring a modern architecture, So that variety we have. We are one IIT KGP. That is what we have to keep in mind. One IIT KGP. A symphony of minds playing in harmony and dissonance both. Steve Jobs once said, innovation is saying no to 1,000 of things. But here, let's say yes to one common thing, cooperation. This is what is very, very important. Cooperation doesn't mean agreeing to everything, but cooperation. We are a massive community, really massive community, stretching from our tech market to global market. So if we call market as a terminology, we have that range. From research lab to green fields, and our outreach is really like that, where our disruptive technologies have taken a root. So whether we are programming robots or building solar powered units or delivering healthcare in Sundarbans, which some of my personal research is related to, we are one IIT KGP. And like any great joint family, we are sometimes noisy, argumentative, but always bound by something deeper, a belief that honest and sincere efforts, when combined and shared, transforms. And we are all ready for this transformative journey. We shall build this one IIT KGP, a unified, interdisciplinary and inclusive community that breaks down silos between departments, students and faculty, between labs and life, between India and the world. This unity is not uniformity, as I told, but harmony of diverse minds working together, of shared values guiding independent inquiry, and of collective resilience in driving individual excellence. The transformation that I am talking about should not be taken in a literal sense, that departments will be transformed or administration will be transformed, not like that. It is a cultural transformation. I think that is what we all must recognize. The first act of cultural transformation is take away negativity from the thought and action. This is the first thing that we must do. We have to imagine that as a director, I am likely to be an administrator, but I have defined my job role as a leadership facilitator, not academic administrator. So there will be other people to do academic administration, and we may have different roles for that. Incidentally, today is the Holy Ratha Yatra. When we organized this program, I actually never thought that we have the opportunity of having this interaction in this very auspicious day. And I had the privilege of, I think it's a lifetime privilege, for getting this opportunity of this Cherapera program, which is basically, those of you who are not familiar, that in the chariots where the Lord Jagannath, Devi Subhadra and Lord Balaram, they are there. I have got the opportunity to get into that, and with that golden broom sweep whatever is there in the Kharagpur Jagannath temple in the morning. I take this as a lifetime opportunity, as a symbol, which has given me an opportunity to sweep away all the negativity and bring in positivity to people, all with the blessings of Lord Jagannath. Now I told cultural transformation. What do we mean by this? I give you an example. When I first entered into administration from my usual academic and research job, I thought that I am a fish out of water. And certain things which sort of, nobody told me exactly, but I found that certain things are happening as a part of administration. I felt that this is exactly conflicting to what I expected as a faculty member. People write emails, we are silent. We are selectively responsive to what we want. If a very influential person is writing, within 30 seconds we are responding. And if the person has no influence, it may be 30 months or so. One senior administrator gave me a lesson of administration. Do not respond to these emails. I found, oh my God, where we are there. I mean, I have written one email to the Dean of Engineering of MIT, who is currently the Provost. And within half a day, I got a reply from his office. So that means he is not a good administrator. So the question is that this is a culture. At the same time, we have to recognize that all emails cannot be answered. From the day on which I have taken over this responsibility, I have got numerous emails directed to me from students, etc., on things ranging from deregistration from course to this and that. And being a professor who is very close to the students, I know that this is a good trick that any student would like to play. Somehow, if the director is managed, everyone is managed. But at the same time, I cannot sit non-responsive. That I cannot. So we have to find out a structure by which all these can be responded to a large extent mechanically, but the mechanical response will give a sense of responsibility. All of you who are faculty members write papers and see when a journal rejects a paper, we all are very sad. But there is an automated thing which writes that thanks for sharing your great work. This journal is unfortunately not befitting to the this work, but we all wish good luck for your publication elsewhere. We are very sad, but they are writing very nice things. So we have to learn how to do all these to make sure that people do not think that we are non-responsive, but not like that, journal editor. So what I am thinking, and this would be one smart practices, we have to recognize that there was a time when email communication was thought to be smart. After that, WhatsApp communication is thought to be smarter, but we have to be smartest. Now these are outdated. So what we have to do is to create an AI-driven system which will automatically filter certain things and give responses to an extent that the relevant administrator will have a scope of editing it to the fine-tuning, but the draft is already prepared. So this, what I call as a mix of human attribute and AI, and that will come into my interaction time and again. We need to somehow have rapid processing, simplification, and decentralization of routine process flow. And what I recognize is that I was just yesterday telling to my office secretary that we are not yet out of that habit when for going to washroom also you have to take the permission of director, and director has to write approved, not approved, etc. So this is all gone. If that has to be there, I cannot do the responsibility that is entrusted to me, not approving or disapproving that. So we would have priority for academics and allied activities related to academic endeavors. For that, IIT Kharagpur is IIT Kharagpur. At the same time, we would have many things, and these things I would start as reforms, stopping unnecessary lengthy meetings on routine matters. No, not at all required. So we will no more have those meetings which will go up to 11 in the night, and it will prepare only the agenda for the next meeting. So what we have to do is to build up a smart system where all the routine approvals and the routine activities which are very important. Say I am a student, I need a bona fide certificate for appearing in visa interview. It is routine. And as a student I am very agonized because my visa interview is fixed. If I do not present it, it all is gone, all my effort is gone. That should be routine and automatic. At the most up to HOD level, not more than that. So for everything to lots of people it is coming, and people are confused. And everybody is sending to the director, and director is confused, writing please discuss. So this is this. So those days are gone. I am requesting the deans that if you send me those files, I will politely send those back to you and say, this is not my job. And time spent at director's office. Time spent at director's office is usually inversely proportional to the work that someone is doing. So, no, I find, this is where we have to be smarter. There are people, I know, I have been Dean R&D also, I know there are people who are very fond of this, what we call as basin of attraction in chaos theory in nonlinear dynamics. So, I am not that person. So, I am already impressed with most, and being a part of this IIT KGP family, I know almost everybody, at least the senior ones, and I have a reasonable impression, and that will not change because I am a director or not. So, there is no reason to spend more time there, and typically all these individual one-to-one meeting between dean and director, or maybe HOD and director, should never last more than 10 minutes. Absolutely. And beyond 10 minutes, the things get into negativity. That person is bad, that person, oh, you are making that person a dean, that person wrote 10 letters against you. So, so that, those things are, those things are not needed. I am a very impersonal person when I am doing profession, and profession will be done with professional ethics and integrity. As I told that we are going to do different administrative reforms which will give significant functional autonomy to the different units, so that the units themselves can run in whatever way. There are quite a few things in a very loose sense I can say that, as I told, that when I first became the, I think, head of SMST was my first administrative job, then associate dean Srik and the dean R&D, I kept only one principle, that I would not like to do that which as a non-administrative faculty member I disliked. This is the first, foundation. But the problem is, many people come to administration without knowing the grassroots level problem or forgetting the grassroots level problem, and then that's the challenge. So I would like to have those in my administrative team who may not necessarily know all the grassroots level problems, but would be empathetic to the grassroots level problem. Otherwise, it cannot be taken. So on a bit of a light note, every year when new students come, and we have to also have separate deliberations on how we can make the place more friendly for the new students who are coming. I will sit with the Dean Student Affairs for this separately. We write, ragging in any form is banned on campus. but we have to be careful. If director is telling unparliamentary things to anybody, that is also ragging. So ragging doesn't mean that a senior student does ragging to a junior student. I have seen most ragging takes place from a colleague to another colleague. So this is a cultural transformation. So that ragging has to go away. Ragging in any form is banned. That is the literal thing that we have to keep in mind. Also cultural transformation. Being a grassroots level person, I know that maybe hundreds of RTIs are filed. Hundreds. I will sit with the registrar once and get the details, because it has been asked to me, and I'm mandated to give that as a record, that last 2 years how many RTIs. Do you know why these RTIs are there? Mostly because of lack of transparency in which things are done. So say I am the director and you are not liking something about me. So you say that no, being a director, you cannot tell anything in front of me. So you make use of one of your friends who will file RTI. Oh, director was in the market telling something, carrying a bag with, say, black color with some, you do not know, maybe some huge, money notes, currencies were there, something like that. So the whole idea is that it's an indirect way of doing, because direct channel is lost. So to bring that transparency back, I will create an automated internal RTI system. That means you will have a RTI-like system where you can file your own thing, but most of the times telling the fact what is your grievance, but optional you can keep your identity disclosed or non-disclosed. It is up to you. And there will be a set of people which will who will look into that and bring it up to the relevant people, maybe director or whoever, and then it will be addressed. So that will stop or rather minimize filing of these, what I say as synthetic RTIs. These are not actually RTIs. These are to create troubles for some people in front of whom people cannot tell the right thing. So this culture we have to change, and so we will have this not just grievance. See, always we talk about negative things. We talk about grievance. We talk about counseling because we feel that mentally all is sick. So this is not good. I mean, by the name of counseling center, sometimes people feel that it is equivalent to the old lunatic asylum. So this is not good. So we have to redefine all these things, and this redefinition, it is an important part of cultural transformation. So in a way, to summarize my understandings of all these, I will try my best not just to preach but to follow transparent administration. That means someone is approaching the administration for something, administration cannot satisfy everybody. This I have learned when I did administration for the first time. Even if your heart is with that, but because of some reason you may not be able to satisfy. But be transparent. Somehow communicate to the relevant stakeholder. This I am requesting all the heads and deans with folded hands, that please communicate with the people. Do not sit with the emails. Communicate with the people. I know email system is difficult, so we will bring an automated system, but till that email we have to somehow manage with that. Even if there is someone in the office with a one sentence reply, communicate, communicate and communicate. Do not stop communicating. And then many of the problems would be addressed. Over the past period, many people talked about propagation of negativity because of this. And personally, I would say that this negativity of mind has also affected me. I am an individual, you have to remember, and I am a part of all of you. I do not think director is special. Director is just a senior faculty working for everybody. So this negativity also affected me. But you know, we all take what we say as directions or lessons from different people. And what I would say is that what I realized for myself, for many reasons, there are a few legendary figures whom I think as, they are like role models. For example, Sachin Tendulkar. I like Sachin Tendulkar very much. If you ask me to stand with a cricket bat, Sachin Tendulkar will just laugh and go away. That is my standard. But it is in principle. In terms of age, when I was struggling to what you call as preparing for my school final exam, Sachin Tendulkar was facing Pakistan in a very tough test match, the first test match of his life. This legendary Sachin Tendulkar was also criticized heavily on many things, including ball tampering. Can you imagine? And the answer that Sachin Tendulkar gave, I still remember, that let people throw stones to me. It is my duty to convert those stones into milestones. So this is what my motto, that maybe some people have thrown some stone at some point of time. Okay, it's my job, try to do my best to convert those stones into milestones. Again, cricket is coming as an example, and I like cricket very much. So this example, I gave to some people in my first interaction with the deans, that all of us know that Greg Chappell created a lot of controversy as a coach of India. And when Greg Chappell was leaving, a question was asked, and always we have our journalist friends sitting here, they are always very happy to ask very interesting questions. So interesting question was that, Mr. Chappell, what is your opinion about all those, Ganguly episode and all those things? And the answer was very interesting, that it is important for all of us to forget the past, but it is more important for all of us to remember the lesson that we have learned out of it. And that is the motto that I will carry. Forget the past, but remember the lesson that we have all learned out of it. Now my second point, the first point was to summarize one IIT KGP with cultural transformation. This is like if you say the first bullet point. The second point, the world is shifting. And this is very, very important, technologically, socially, environmentally. Our job, therefore, is not to keep pace, that we have to do anyway, but actually to set the pace. For that, I believe that we will blend different aspects of knowledge and learning that don't just prepare students for jobs. And this is a very broad statement, and in some later discussion in a different forum, I will tell what I exactly mean by that, because I have a separate vision plan on that. But to prepare people for living with purpose. Let us dare to be an institution where ideas are born, broken, rebuilt, and quite commonly turned into startups before the idea gets into its midterm. We will learn to our greatest strength from our faculty, alumni, and many of the alumni are known to be global thought leaders. And what we have collectively decided that we will form a IIT KGP think tank, which will be constituted by some of our on-campus faculty and some experts, external experts, maybe government representatives, and most importantly, a chosen few highly distinguished alumni, not distinguished alumni, quote unquote, distinguished alumni awardee. We all know that, distinguished alumni in the literal sense, they can actually transform IIT Kharagpur. And I am sorry that we have not given alumni the opportunity to do that. But definitely we will give. And so we will prepare this. This think tank body will shape our strategic directions, enhance research priorities. Because people can do research on any area, but we have to set up certain priorities and goals, and connect our academic pursuits with entrepreneurial and societal needs. From AI to climate change, quantum computing to public health. Some people talk about IIT Kharagpur as almost like an ancient IIT model and speak about some other IITs which are still first generation IITs and apparently doing better. I do not understand what is doing better or worse because I am not a believer of just putting a rank in something, but ranking is something which should be a reflection of how we are doing. So if ranking is not good, definitely we are not doing well. But ranking and whether we are doing well doesn't necessarily have a one-to-one mapping. IIT Kharagpur is very unique because it is located at Kharagpur. Many people take it as a challenge, and usually the challenge is because of location. I mean, it's usually a lot of problem in settling here for people who are not originally from similar places. Typically with spouse and jobs of spouse, etc., we all know that it's a very difficult problem. Having said that, this challenge is an opportunity. You go 1 kilometer away from IIT Kharagpur, you will see that you have a green field on which the real deep tech outcome that IIT Kharagpur researchers over the years have come up with, they can create transformations. So we have many unique things, and we have to remember one of the things, that this is a great opportunity. While working with healthcare as a technology, I have recognized that top-notch healthcare experts want to collaborate with people like us. For what? We are not great experts in everything. But for field dissemination, field testing, and making the technology applied and accessible to a population on the grassroots level. Who will test this? In a big city? No. We have the natural ambience to nurture that. We have a unique academy of leadership. As I told, that leadership is not about imposing things. As the director of this institution, I would like everybody here sitting and maybe online, part of this family, become a leader. And it is very important to learn that, because the first step of learning to be a leader is to learn how to be a good and disciplined follower. And then we get into the role of leadership. A first-year student also can become a leader, and I will make sure I discuss about this in the interaction that we'll be having with our incoming students. So, in a way, there are of course different messages that I would have in details to all the stakeholders, but a bit of summary of what I would like to tell to our students. So, our dear students, your job is not just to ace exams. You are not consumers of education. I mean, we all know that almost like a customer-client relationship, that kind of thing is there these days, and it is a nuisance. And I will give you one example. When the first evaluation of the teaching performance by students came up, what we say as so-called students' feedback, the first few years were fine. But later on, I realized that some of the teachers who are very good, maybe a bit, they do not like students to pass through very easily, they are not getting good feedback. And someone who knows how to crack the feedback, and we know perhaps the worst teacher on campus, 4.8, 4.9. So, what is the meaning of this? So, when we set numbers, we are intelligent enough to bypass or crook that into something. So, students are not consumers of education. You are our ambassadors and co-creators of the future. We need your cooperation for many things, but one important thing in my mission, delete the word punishment from IIT KGP dictionary. So that somehow we have to, see, punishment is not a solution. If you punish someone, you will recognize that it has a vicious impact, and that doesn't actually solve any problem. So we have to find out a way to do that. It has to be correction rather than punish. To our faculty members, I should thank all of you for choosing to build futures instead of chasing fancier ones elsewhere outside IIT Kharagpur. You are the lighthouses in this fog of fast knowledge. Research is not just your job, it's your rebellion against ignorance. I am here to facilitate funding this, what is called as so-called crazy research ideas and so on, and I am quite okay by sort of supporting your ignorance in many other things. Absolutely no problem. Try out what you feel good. Just try out. And make endeavors to make us among the global best. I am your facilitator, always with you in need, supporting good cause with the best of my capabilities. Think big. Do not try to go for incremental problems to number crunch publications. Not needed. I will work out with different stakeholders to have a more reasonable promotion strategy or faculty advancement strategy, which will take away people from this number crunching by compromising quality. We are not like that. If for that reason some rank of IIT Kharagpur is bad in certain things, be it so. Doesn't matter. So for us, for me, quality of your innovation and impact of innovation is what is the most important. So I would like to have some strategic fund flow where some of you will get the liberty of trying crazy things. If you fail, responsibility is mine. If you succeed, success is yours. To our staff, you are our engines. Absolutely, you are our engines. Without you, the institution doesn't run. Let's invest more in your ideas. How do you shape yourself up, and less in unnecessary red tapes. We have to imagine that one of the big challenges with how faculty looks into staff, I am just telling as a faculty member, we think that staff is always there to stop us. Until and unless the faculty becomes a dean or director, then they say staff is very good. Because what happens is, the same faculty who was so much, distressed, now the dean uses the same staff as a weapon to write not approved and all those things. And this not approved is a very bad terminology. I will tell you an anecdote, and when I am standing here, I always remember all the directors, the former directors and very senior professors. I was fortunate enough to be selected in the era of legendary Professor Amitabha Ghosh, and I did not join in his time, But I joined at the era of Professor Shishir Kumar Dubey, who was generous to give fund for building up my lab, which has been the first microfluidics lab in the country. So, and then subsequently, I had Professor Damodar Acharya, who was a father-like figure, and many of you who have recognized by this time, you know, there we have this something what we call as coconut. Outside very hard, but inside very soft. And I believe that Professor Acharya was one such person. You know, at the very beginning, I was myself very afraid to face Professor Acharya. But then I realized that, you know, there are hardly people who can be as soft as him when the situation demands. Then in between, Professor Acharya and the legendary Professor PPC, I mean, I do not have any words to explain who is PPC, came Professor S.K. Som, our beloved Som sir. And whatever I am here today in this institute, I think the happiest person from the institute who is perhaps seeing from the heaven and putting up a blessing is Som sir. So, me and Som sir used to spend a lot of time in sharing the teaching load of different subjects, many fundamental subjects like thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, etc. And you know, thermodynamics is such a subject where you have a lot of philosophy. So in thermodynamics, the second law starts with, it is impossible to do something, to construct a device which will do something except for this and that, very convoluted statement. And believe me or not, most faculty members take our staff as burning examples of second law of thermodynamics. Start with, you know, it is impossible to have this purchase order approved. So my recommendation is very simple. It is okay if you say that the file is wrong, but it is your job to tell what should be done to make the file right. Because professors are trained in their subjects. Professors are not trained in finance or, you know, purchase raising, etc. And we have to realize, you know, this I am telling because, you know, this is a candid interaction, that over a period of time, I have found that professors do not want to do projects anymore. Why? Because if you do projects, you have a chance of making mistake. Maybe in a letter you have put a wrong date, but you are a professor, what you will do? Maybe you have, at that time it was not there in your mind. So there will be 20 people who will write things which will first be memo, then memorandum plus, all these things are going to happen. So better stop doing project and give Gyan course to people. That means give your, you know, general Gyan. So people are discouraged. I am telling very openly. Why? Because my research advisor, Professor Pradeep Datta, who is also a distinguished alumnus of this institute, once told this when one of my paper got rejected. I was very upset. I was a master student at that time, a junior master student. So I did not accept that. I thought that paper was good, but the review comment was horrible. So Professor Datta told me that why are you so upset? And he could recognize it because every day in the Gymkhana ground we used to go to play and my friends were there so happy, and I was almost like in the hostel room, you know, feeling very bad. So what he told me is that you are having headache, but you are having headache because you are having head. Those who do not have head never have headache. And this is a lesson of life. So if you work, then only you make mistake. If you do project, then only you will make mistake in doing project. If you do not do project, you never. So somehow we have to bring this, you know, comfort level back to faculty. And this is the job of our staff to do this. So I am not going to listen that this faculty member has not done this correctly, and all of the faculty member doesn't know. You are the boss. you tell what has to be done, and then also if the faculty member is not doing, you report to me, I will see. To our alumni, now this is very special. This is your institution, many of you are online, so I am, in fact, all of you are online, so I am looking a bit back into the screen. In front also there is a screen, but I think the back is a larger screen. This is your institution, and it has grown leaps and bounds with the prestige earned only because of your worldwide accomplishment. Let us accept that. We need you in our boat, not externally, not in the ocean. We need you in our boat to enable us sail well in all weather conditions. So, within a few days, I will approach every faculty with a letter, every alumni with a letter individually from my side, talking about 5 to 10 top institutional priorities for which we need their guidance and support. We need your direct influence to make us really the world-class institution using the springboard of the Platinum Jubilee celebration, which is going to start from the upcoming Foundation Day. Just for everyone who has gathered here, a couple of days back we had the Board of Governors meeting. Usually we do not discuss about the BOG meeting etc. in such a big forum because there are many agenda items which are not relevant. But one important thing which emerged out of my discussion with the chairman is that in the next BOG meeting, which can happen maybe in another 1 month or maybe 2 months, I do not know, we have to present a 5-year vision map of what we are going to do unique and exclusive as a part of our institutional journey on the way forward. Not just a table with 2 crores, 3 crores, 100 crores, 5,000 crores like that. It has to be a vision mapped with the approach and the way in which we actually intend to do. So we would form small committees with deans, heads, and beyond deans, heads, other think tanks to work on this so that we can come up with a very professional presentation on behalf of us to our esteemed Board of Governors. Now, I have purposefully kept something which I will talk a bit later about. In this point I was talking about the different stakeholders, faculty, students, staff, etc. I have something for the campus residents, and I will talk about that subsequently. So, but I have not talked about me, right? I am neither staff, so you know that there are people, if you want to define me, neither faculty nor staff, or someone who is like, for a long period of time, director was thought like a king. Those days are gone. I am just a senior faculty member, a professor who is more like your facilitator, and I want every administrator to be like that. As individuals, as faculty members, what we are? We are academicians, sometimes we have to do administration, and we are also having our own personal life, that is family and other things. And I would like to make sure that we have a good balance of all these. And as I told, that as a teacher or as a professor, I always wanted to give academics and research as my topmost priority, and in this seat it will not change. So, as per this second law of thermodynamics, I will first tell what I would not do and then what I would do. So, I would not be a self-proclaimed king. with bodyguards around and pretending to be an expert in everything. So to our young colleagues who are waiting for confirmation, those grilling days of confirmation interview is gone. So that is stopped. So that is a part of ragging in any form is banned. Academic administration is a very unique thing. Sometimes people think that academic administrators are first administrators and then academicians, and then we are actually very bad because the IAS officers are much better than us for in administration. That we have to recognize. But sometimes it happens in such a way that academic administration becomes administration minus academics. It is not good and it is undesirable. Why not good? Again, coming back to cricket, can we imagine that the captain of Indian cricket team is a person who by merit cannot get chance in Indian cricket team? Yes or no? No, never. But sometimes we experience that an academic leader may be an academic leader without being good in the own academic field. This is not acceptable. So I don't want to be marked like that at the end of my 5 years tenure. So what I will do is, and I have decided very professionally, and many great people do that, I have just learned from them. So one step is that minimizing interaction with people who come to director's office and in the name of meeting spend 1 hour, 2 hours like that, all not required. And systematically for a period of time on every day, I will disappear from director's office. Absolutely. And many work I will do online from home in a way. I have got very familiar with this during the COVID time. Those of you who are familiar with my style of working, at 11 in the night, some professor wrote to me that 12 midnight is the deadline for submitting a proposal for which they need my endorsement. Wrote in my WhatsApp. I said it's fine. Because if I stop it, that person didn't come from so-called through proper channel. HOD will write this and that. What I thought is that, what best I can do? I cannot give the project. If I endorse, then the PI will get a chance. If I do not endorse, the PI will not get a chance. So let me take a risk. If someone blames that without HOD's permission, why did you do? I will justify. So what I did is that I have the soft copies of everything, and I am always a moving office. So Shetty Babu is a bit relaxed now. So if you want something which on director's notepad you want, say, early in the morning or midnight, and I am awake, you can give me a call. Within 5-10 minutes, if I am convinced, I will give you. And if I have to justify to anybody, I will do. So for example, some of you are, in a position to get great things for the institution. But we have to remember, IIT Kharagpur, the institution is above all. All of us are working for the interest of the institution. So if you want something for your personal benefit, but not benefiting the institution, I will, sort of not be in a position to do it. So that this kind of culture is promised from my side. So in that way, every day for several hours, I will just disappear. Where I will go, I cannot go to any other place. I will go to my lab and try to work hard more to interact with my students. And now I have a greater opportunity because I will learn the institution better and possibly collaborate with many other students and faculty members, and many publications or many types of things which were dreamed for me for a long time. I think with all the support it will come true. So that is also a part of my ambition, not standing with a stick and writing approved and not approved. So to me, all of you are precious human beings. So you are not like a roll number or employee code number. And all of you are priceless. Every one of you is important. I promise that our institutional leadership is not just about formal initiatives, but more emphatically about sincerely endeavoring to be present with all of you, not just in your good times, but in your dark moments. And I will try to do that. And here comes the point number 3. Academic excellence cannot thrive in the absence of well-being. In the next phase of our journey, the community wellness I want to redefine. Community wellness is not counseling center. We have to understand it very well. So, when I first took up this job, I have lot of this mission, vision, plan and all, and those of the expert members who are part of the search cum selection committee know about how I presented it. But if you tell me what is the priority, I would say I have a priority 0. Forget about director, professor, dean, whatever. We are humans. As a parent, I would never like to see any of the students losing life because of whatever reasons. Let them do whatever. I mean, let them be not getting good grades. So be it. Everyone is, see, if everyone is first in the class, you don't have something called a second, third, fourth like that. But life is precious. If life is there, if you are having bad time, good time will come back. This is what is cycle of life. So we will make sincere endeavors to try our best to reverse this. Now it cannot be done by word of mouth, and usually we are proactive. But in this type of situation we are reactive. So when something happens, somehow we can manage the crisis management. But the question is, can we develop a holistic system? So the holistic system, as I realize, that say some of us have mental distress and we do not have anyone to share with. Modern technology says use AI driven chatbot type of things with which you can do. But at the same time we also realize, say I am a student and I am far away from my parents and I am there in a hostel and something has happened, this AI chatbot is fine, but if my mother was there by my side, it would have been great. But you cannot bring them like that. So I have thought of a scheme, and it is up to the approval of all our campus mothers. That a scheme where all the campus mothers will be engaged in mentoring the students in a motherly fashion. Now there is a balance that we have to strike, because Indian mothers, sometimes we feel, oh, if mummy is not there, much better, because mother will monitor almost everything from day to night. So not that type of monitoring scheme of a mother, that affection of a mother. So for everything we will make blend of good things. So AI on one hand and motherly affection on the other, and that blend we will make a new model. So this model, so I will set up a core committee so that we get expressions of interest from the campus mothers. We will have some token honorarium to recognize, it cannot be anything more than a token honorarium, to recognize their this very, very important contribution, like the silent contribution of our mothers, which do not come up in the front. And we will recognize them through certain awards, rewards, etc., depending on the transformative influence that they could have, and we will find out a mechanism to do that. But it all depends on how the campus mothers are responding to that, and we have to see. But most importantly, we have to recognize that the joy of living on campus, it has to be retained and emphasized and enhanced. For everybody, let us say that campus will be a place where we get back to our old child days. We are, we become like kids and enjoy what we are doing. When I was a class 11, 12 student, of course JEE was there in some mind, but I was very happy in solving a very complicated maths or physics problem. It gave me a satisfaction. Nowadays in children, I do not get this satisfaction. They feel that, well, in JEE mains or JEE advanced, will this question come? If it comes, what is the easy way to get the answer? So somehow we have to bring that back. And we need certain also the quality of life on campus. So what I have thought is that we will make an exclusive campus development task force, which is different from the deans, but some deans may be a part of that. But exclusive campus development task force, which will work on making us a world-class campus in every respect, human side and infrastructure side. So this, I think, is one of the things that, our tech market, we should have it in a different form. We should have amenity centers in a different form, so that none of us feel that whenever there is time, let us go to Kolkata or somewhere and get ventilated. We'll ventilate here itself. Now, just a couple of more points before I conclude. So we have to imagine that I was talking about certain things which might appear to be ideal, but without finances nothing can happen. So we have to come to a state where we come towards the direction of financial autonomy. It is not easy, but this can be systematically achieved by having activities, by having facilities which on one hand will enhance our academic research and translational output, on the other hand will also create a sustainable revenue generation model. So all of you who are working on different things, some of you are great teachers. Make modules which will be so special that it will be attractive and it will be revenue generating. Those who develop technologies, let the technologies not end with publications where things are there, but it cannot be realized on the ground. So in all respect, I think that I am welcoming all the investors, accelerators and startup facilitators to the campus and its outreach units at Rajarhat in Kolkata, at Bhubaneswar and several other places to make a vibrant startup ecosystem. And for this, to make it happen properly, we are in strong need of the help from alumni and the government. We all know that we are from a special place which is Kharagpur, and I feel very bad, many people from surroundings who come and say, sir, please give us some help, I do not have job and all this. And sometimes it becomes like, in front of temple many people are there and you feel that you give some, begging you do, great thing in life. So in that way, someone will, but with this donation life doesn't, go on. It has to be something sustainable, and sustainable livelihood creation in the surroundings is an important mandate of IIT Kharagpur, and we should do that. And if we are able to do that with an inclusive way, by taking our surrounding rural underprivileged livelihood, I think we will be able to develop a pilot which nationally and internationally we can show that what makes IIT Kharagpur very unique. And let this be one of the major emphasis of our Platinum Jubilee program. And of course, internationalization. We anyway are not limited by borders, geographical or international. The Honorable Dr. Nelson Mandela once said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And it's really so. But to change the world, you have to be a global academician. You cannot be only a tikka shop academician, what I call. So to become a global academician, we must have really vigorous, very active engagement and research collaboration programs, facilitating human resource exchange and really doing big global projects. And this is another priority area which we will put up, as a part of our next 5-year program, that how can we internationalize in a true sense, not by signing 100 or 500 MOUs, but to see what exactly we can do out of it. So IIT Kharagpur is not just a world-class institute in India, but a world-class Indian institute. There is a difference between these two. In every aspect, from infrastructure to intellectual spirit, with a footprint in every major global challenge and opportunity. it is not just IIT KGP, it's India's think tank, it's Asia's knowledge force, and the world's next innovation capital. We all think about Silicon Valley, but this should be the world's next innovation capital. And I mean this because in Silicon Valley, I am not sure that they are solving the problems which are there, as a part of our immediate society. I was once listening to a lecture of our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi in one of the inaugural programs of the Imprint One that many of you know. It was a flagship program and a very successful program. So in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, out of many things, one important statement that he made: science is universal, but technology must be local. And this is very, very important, I believe. So, who are there to solve our own problems? That we have to do technologically. The Newton's law will not change, if you go from India to, USA, but the perspective will change. So, we are proud partners of India's grand aspirations towards Vikashit Bharat. From the National Education Policy, Digital India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, Gaganayan Mission, and the Mission Life. But let us remember that national missions are not ceilings. That means this is what is, the end. These are the foundations. From that foundation, we must reach for global impact. These are just platforms in knowledge, equity, sustainability, and peace. The institution, therefore, to summarize, is not just a heritage museum. It's a launch pad. Let's make it less about lock gates. Lock gates means deadlocks, and more about gateways. That means facilitation. The world doesn't need more institutions that just follow. It needs institutions that lead and dare. So, as I told, that we are unique in many ways. We can blend the Western with the Eastern, the heart of an Indian, the soul of an Indian, with the technology of the West, or maybe our own technology. So, we will try to make sure that we practice all this. I am going to make a plan of very, very so-called aggressive human resource recruitment in terms of faculty and postdoctoral fellows. And we will work out a policy, and to all the alumni who are abroad, please help us in getting top world-class faculty members. We will have fast-track schemes to make sure that we have them with us. Inside, we will develop effective infrastructure so that we can support their causes. When I responded to the call for the opportunity of leading IIT Kharagpur, I gratefully acknowledge that as a privilege. To steer an institution that just doesn't produce technocrats but architects of the future. At some point of time, I thought that Nobel Prize is something which is like, we always see and admire. But we have our Academy of Leadership, which is there to lead in different directions. And we have IIT Kharagpur, Boston Pledge combined leadership program, global program, coming up on 24th February 2026. And I think that we should, by that time, develop a launching pad to foster the brilliant minds who are worth getting Nobel Prize. See, whether someone will get Nobel Prize or not, people cannot say. But by Nobel Prize, I mean that exciting outcome of the highest level of global innovation and impact. We should nurture that. Swami Vivekananda once thundered, "Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached." That spirit is in our corridors anyway. In every student chasing ideas with fire, every researcher battling unknowns, and every faculty member lighting sparks that may take years to explode into brilliance. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, one of the nation's valiant sons, declared, "It is our duty to pay for our liberty with our own blood." At IIT KGP, of course, we are not looking for that kind of thing, although as a researcher I need blood from many people to do medical diagnostics research, but I literally do not mean that. But the motto is that we are called to serve for a larger cause, to build a nation of thinkers, doers and dreamers who value knowledge as freedom and purpose as power. Let's not just aim for rankings and recognition. This will follow anyway. If we inculcate excellence, if we are excellent, we cannot be we see MIT, Stanford, UC Berkeley, all these, Oxford, Cambridge. I do not think that they have separate strategy for forging rank, because they are so excellent, that rank automatically comes. So let's become the place where the future gets quietly built up while the entire world watches that, a little enviously. And yes, if we get everything right, perhaps the next great invention will not come from Silicon Valley, but from the Scholars Avenue of IIT Kharagpur. And possibly after a chai-fueled debate at apparently odd hours, post-midnight, many times those things happen. And of course, our beloved students, if you ever feel adrift, just remember Dr. Kalam's words, "Dream is not what you see in sleep, it is what keeps you awake." But let's be honest, the land speed at the exam schedule are going to be a pretty good job for you to stay awake for some time. Let's not just keep the lights on at IIT Kharagpur. We have great lighting system now in the main building and the old building. But we have to remember that it's a light which is inside. It is very good that we have the light outside. And somehow it resonates. In the corridor, the lighting is not so good. Let's turn these lights symbolically into beacons. Let's build a campus where knowledge has no borders. Excellence has no fear. Very important. And at every step, we take echoes that promise a better tomorrow. I promise to lead with heart and not with hierarchy, to create a culture where it's safe to take any risk, to fail with dignity, and to rise with resilience. We will not just chase global recognition, we will redefine what is relevance. Together, let's write a chapter worthy of this epic institution, one that future generations will not just remember but will stand on. Let's not just inherit history, let's ignite it. Thank you, namaskar and Jai Hind. Thank you very much, and I was just seeing the faces of some of the distinguished alumni who are there online, but somehow, yeah. So it's a great surprise. We were talking about leadership and this our search towards excellence in leadership, and we have none other than Dr. Partho Ghosh. I know it's a great surprise. Who is the founder and what I would say, the global role model in what we call as leadership. He's the icon of leadership. So good morning, Dr. Ghosh. It's morning at your place. I know it's quite late evening in the Indian time and everybody is looking for dinner, but your item will be a food for the dinner. So please, we will be listening to you, with utmost sincerity so that we can do something out of it.
Thank you, Suman. You know, I remember when I first came to IIT, on the second day, there was a surprise test. It was a surprise test, and the teacher said, we would like to have a test on the third day of the day in IIT in 1966. So, inviting me to talk is a surprise. But in honor of this very auspicious moment, in honor of the talk that you just delivered, you have covered so many different points. Let me, on behalf of alumni, you could see my friend Arjun, we grew up on the same wing, in the same hall, of course. He was 1 year senior to me for 4 years together. In behalf of alumni, congratulate you for assuming the role of director. And the way you laid out the key points definitely is very exciting. It is something that we should experiment with and continuously refine to build an institute which the world would look up to. I agree with you, no point talking about ranking. Exactly what Geeta is to talk about, let's enjoy the process of build-up. Focus on excellence, focus on cultural transformation, and focus on how we could shape the future civilization. I do not know, it was a surprise test, I'm thinking of what to say. But firstly, I want to really honor everyone in the auditorium and everyone on the screens that you have arrived at a very auspicious moment in the history of the world, history of the nation, history of IIT Kharagpur. And I want to underscore that. It is Ratha Yatra, as you rightly pointed out. The world is in a state of inflection. There's a lot of struggles around the world. And of course, the most important thing which I feel, and you touched on it, that being at Kharagpur is a strategic advantage. It is a big advantage because when we go have corporate discussions, we go on retreats, we go to forests, because that's where we can think freely. Being away from the noise also is a strategic advantage. To live in a place where the air quality index is high, particularly in the context of India, is a strategic advantage. So I think anyone who feels being in Kharagpur is a strategic disadvantage must think about what is advantage and what is disadvantage. Advantage is that when you have access to situations which really makes you special, and in a center of learning, in a center of education, it is all about being in a place where you can immerse yourself quietly towards the subjects that you want to specialize in. So I think you touched on it, that was the most touching point for me, because I always felt Kharagpur is a very special place because there's no other place in the world, let me make the point, there's no other place in the world which is like Kharagpur, because it allows, as you could see, our alumni is in Silicon Valley, running great companies, working in $150,000 per capita environment. And there are some folks who are working in the villages near Kharagpur, which is perhaps $700 per capita. That range is the spectrum of experience that we bring from Silicon Valley to the valleys near IIT Kharagpur. No other institute in the world can offer. IIT Kharagpur can offer, and I think we should view that as a strategic advantage because this spectrum of exposure that we are offered is what I think will create the next generation innovation, and that will lead to the culture of Nobel Prize. I'm so glad you talked about Nobel Prizes. Indeed, if you have so many brilliant minds, why should not we think in terms of how to come up with breakthrough ideas? And breakthrough ideas offer Nobel Prizes. I remember a movie on Einstein, and they were talking about the German universities. There was a culture where one professor would ask, so and so, Bohr, when are you getting the Nobel Prize? And Bohr would talk to Schlesinger, well, after you get the Nobel Prize. They're cheerleaders. They cheer each other, but set very high ambition. I think we want to create that culture, and I'm so glad, Suman, you touched on it, and we should all work together, the alumni, the faculty, the administration, students to create a culture of what I will call positivity, a culture that will create a new kind of leaders who could inspire not only the people in their own environment, but inspire the world to create a new civilization. I'm also glad we talked about the February 24th event, since there are many people in the alumni, as everyone would know about it. This is a thought which came out of several of actually IIT Kharagpur alumni who are members of the Boston Pledge. We were thinking of how to celebrate the 25th anniversary in honor of India, in honor of 75th anniversary of IIT Kharagpur, and we are calling it the Parliament of Enlightened Thoughts, which will be hosted in Kolkata on February 24th. And the purpose is not Parliament of religions, it's Parliament of Enlightened Thoughts towards shared prosperity. Is to bring to the world some new thinking, which would be in the confluence of philosophy, economics, science and technology, and education. So that we could say how we could shape the future world, and could IIT Kharagpur take leadership, which would come up with a booklet, and in the process start giving the world some of our thoughts, and in the process perhaps create a new culture. So I think I'm very glad that you gave me the surprise test. Everything that I said came out of my mind without any preparation. But the last point I do want to make, which is, what is the North Star? What is the North Star that IIT Kharagpur should aim towards? And I think I'm thinking as I'm talking, to me I feel, and I think many of our alumni would agree, and many of our faculty should agree, the North Star should be defined for where Jawaharlal Nehru, Vidhan Chandra Ray, Gyan Ghosh, is when they decided we'll be next to the history gate. And that's where I think the inspiration that so many people lost their life to create an independent subcontinent. And I'm underscoring subcontinent because their image of India was from Afghanistan to Burma, from Kashmir to Sri Lanka. So that's the India they were fighting for. They lost their lives, they gave their blood, they were executed. You've seen the cells. And no other institute in the world is so close to a place where so much of sacrifice was made. And that should be the source of inspiration, so that we could make our own sacrifices to create a better civilization, better subcontinent. And in the process, connect on one side, as I mentioned earlier, people who live at $1,000 per capita versus $150,000 per capita. And that's when we achieve that, we'll create an institute which will become the model for the world. You know, I work at MIT, I work at Tufts, I go to Harvard very frequently to give lectures. You know, with all my due respect, as Suman you pointed out, they're working on high-end problems, the top 10, 15% of the society. But the breakthroughs in the world has come from the people at the base of the pyramid. We often forget that. If you look at Thomas Edison, he did not finish high school. Look at Andrew Carnegie, did not finish high school. Many of the breakthroughs that you're seeing today came out of people who dropped out. So the key here, which I hope you will appreciate, in name of cultural transformation, we have to breed the courage, the creativity to be able to think out of the box. And that's where I feel the academic leadership we can touch on belongs, that when we conceive the idea of academic leadership, it is to show to the world that we could offer a leadership model which integrates the Eastern and the Western philosophy together to build leaders of the future. There again, we are creating an opportunity for India to create a model which the world will look up to. So with that, thank you for the surprise test. I hope I have not surprised anyone. I feel something that I can say, but thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Ghosh. And again, a surprise. We see Mr. Arjun Malhotra. We do not need any definition to describe who is Arjun. And in fact, I learned that there was a rickshaw puller at IIT Kharagpur who even 10 years back used to say that, you know, I was the person who used to drive none other than Arjun Malhotra. This is what is, you know, defined as Arjun. So Arjun has been a mentor, friend, philosopher, guide to me as a person and to this entire institution. Let us hear from Arjun.
Thank you, Suman, and thank you, Partha. I'm quite aware that it's close to or a little past 9 o'clock in PM in Kharagpur, so I'm going to be very brief. I really liked a number of ideas that Suman, you had put out in your speech. I just want, and I really think it's brilliant to have good administration and not have academics do all the administration. I think that if we can get that to work, it'll be unique and very effective, especially in Kharagpur. I also would like to suggest that as we make these plans, you know, we have visions that this is what we want to achieve, we should put an action plan behind it and set up a review mechanism so that we can review it at whatever frequency and make any corrections that need to be done. Now, I don't want campus to become a corporation, but I do want it to work in some ways like companies work, to try and get things done within a certain time. And I'm quite aware that that is a big change for a campus to do. It's not going to happen overnight. But if everyone makes up their mind that they want to do it and they want to achieve some of those goals that you are setting out, which are non-academic, I think we will have to do that. I'd be very happy to help in whatever way I can. I am available. I am happy to travel to India if we can work out schedules. I am happy to be in Kharagpur for a while. Just want to say, leave that thought, and I want to say thank you, everyone, and congratulations, Suman. I think it's good for the institute that you will be there to lead it, and I'm sure your team will be very happy to work with you. Great idea to have mothers on campus become counselors in a way. In fact, I would even encourage you to let them go through counseling, professional counseling courses which the institute can support, so that they are, if I use the word, not just naturally mothers, but also a little more professional in how they handle some of the student issues that come up. I'll leave everyone with that. Thank you, and have a good evening.
If I am seeing correctly, we have none other than Sri Raja Venkat, the president of the Indian chapter of the IIT KGP Alumni Foundation. Rajaji, you are online?
Yes, I am online.
Yeah.
I hope I'm audible. As a matter of fact, we welcome the professor of KGP and who understands KGP very well, and a brilliant academician as the director of IIT Kharagpur. And I think today is more Director Professor Suman's day, and he has been speaking his heart out, and it was so brilliant to hear it. And a lot of things like think tank and all that, we are going to go big time. And I think he is going to transform IIT into something like Indian Institute of Interesting Technologies. That's what I think he's going to do. I think we are going to go places. And actually, alumni, there are lakhs of alumni outside. If approached properly, I think they're going to come back to IIT Kharagpur with, you know, all their support. That's my feeling. They're all waiting to help IIT Kharagpur if approached rightly. And one of the things is IIT Kharagpur and alumni are like two wheels of a cycle. Both have to go in the same direction. We have to follow and support the IIT Kharagpur in the right earnest. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you. All the best. You're going to do wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Of course, we are getting deep into, late hours and everybody is hungry, but I can see so many very distinguished alumni are around, and to me, I think Sri Vijay Narang was there somewhere. Somehow I have missed it. Yeah, and and none other than Sri Puran Dhang. I think Sri Puran Dhang is the senior most or one among the senior most alumni, and so Puranji, are you in a position to speak something? Because you are like a fatherly person for us, and is there a connectivity problem? We are not able to hear from you. Oh, he is asking to unmute. Is there a... To unmute kore daun. Oh, there are two different links, that is why. Yeah. So maybe 1 minute each from 2-3 more, and then we will close, and we'll have a more intense interaction on another day. So these are two different links. That is why it's creating this one. Ashok Da is online. Huh? Ashok Da is there. Ron is there. So we should. Yeah. Sometimes from a distance you do not see. Yeah, but at least 2-3 very senior and distinguished alumni we should.
Sir, please unmute yourself, sir.
Puranji, please unmute yourself. Yeah, Puranji, in your computer, please unmute yourself. I think he is unable to unmute.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
Now it's coming, yeah, Puranji. It's unmuted already, I think.
Hello. Sir, you can start, sir.
This is so natural.
Hello, this is, I am here.
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, okay. Good morning, good afternoon. This is Alumni. And Sumanji.
এই সাউন্ডটা একটু বাড়িয়ে দাও না।
I am struck by your so eloquent speech. It's the roadmap of the greatest institute of the world. I am the oldest one probably here, and I want to say that you have given a model which will take our institute to the whole world, and to the highest level. And here in your speech, and I heard the word leadership, that it is not just technology or research, but it is how to make a complete person who will have leadership qualities. And our academy, Partho Ghosh Academy, on the sacred campus of our institute, is a jewel in the crown. And I request you, as director of our great institution, to help us, because we need this academy to go forward with a greater pace, who will create leaders with love and compassion. Besides their eminence in technology, we need some staff, we need some professors and assistant professors to run the program, and in that we need a lot of help. And therefore, I request you to go into that. And I will say one more word. President Kennedy, when he took presidency of India in America, he said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. So I ask all my fellow alumni and students that think and ask what you can do for our great IIT. And Sumanji, congratulations, and you are a great leader, and we look forward to a glorious time which will make IIT Kharagpur a model of the world. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very briefly, I saw Dr. Ashok Sarkar. Ashok da, you are around? Oh, Ashok da is there. So if you could spotlight Dr. Ashok Sarkar, who is the president of IIT KGP Foundation, USA.
Sir, you can start, sir. Sir, you unmute yourself, sir.
Ashokda, please unmute your this one computer or.
Not possible.
Something has to be done from this side to do it.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear Ashokda.
Yeah. So, to start with, Professor Suman Chakraborty, thank you for fantastic talk. And what you have done is to put together a roadmap going forward. And it is our responsibility, all of us that are here today, is to help you and help the institute. And like I always say, help the country to make a progress. And you will be the role model to do that. How can we take this country forward in every possible way? Social, educational, technological aspect. And you can be a role model, and we should always help you. And forget about the past, learn from the past, but keep going, keep going. We're going to go forward, and absolutely no two way about that. So I thank you again, and thank the Institute, and thank the country, and God bless you all.
So possibly we can spotlight Sri Ron Gupta, who is online. Ron,
Sir, unmute yourself, sir.
Ron, please unmute yourself. Again, they have
Sir,
to fix
unmute
something.
yourself, sir. Yes, sir. Just. नहीं ये Hello. Sir, now you try once again, sir. Unmute yourself. Sir, now you try once again, sir.
So the issue is only host can speak. So the person has to become the host and only then the person can speak. Ron, please try this time. Ron, please try again and see. This is a very difficult situation when co-host cannot also speak.
If you want to have a suggestion,
Yes.
since you're going to make a lot of transformational moves, though we have relationship with Google, but maybe in the future we could switch to Zoom. Zoom, while allowing us to move forward faster, though we would not underestimate our relationship in the future.
Yes, yes, yes. Can you hear me now?
Sir, you can start now, sir.
Sir, please.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay. I appreciate the talk that Dr. Suman has given. My emphasis is on two things. One is involving the alumni. We have almost 80,000 alumni from Kharagpur. And I think just like today, you have to take advantage of the alumni all around the world. Second is, we have a vast selection of IITs, and we have to somehow integrate all 23 IITs into a bigger force, so that it's not just Kharagpur as the lead IIT, but the IIT. So my points are two. One, take advantage of the alumni, and secondly, take advantage of the other 23 IIT. Thank you, and good luck.
Thanks, Ron. And Sri Vijay Narang, I think we can have a spotlight on him. do the same thing that you did for the previous.
Sir, you can start, sir. Unmute yourself.
Please unmute yourself, I think.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Please start,
Hello.
sir.
Sir, can you hear us? Hello. Sir, now you are unmuted. Please, you can start, sir.
Write in chat box, then he will recognize. Please, you can start, we can hear you, please start. Please, it's already unmuted, I think, and he can, please start. একটু চ্যাটে লিখে দাও না, প্লিজ রাইট ইন চ্যাট।
Good evening in India and good morning in USA to everybody. First of all, hearty congratulations, Dr. Chakraborty, on your appointment as the director of IIT Kharagpur. And we just heard your speech. I must say, it is very, very promising. I see so much of humility, and you're bringing in the emotional quotient in a big way. I think IIT Kharagpur is in great hands. Continuing my point here, the world today is fractured and is edging towards disaster. I believe the key reason of this impasse that we are in is a deep deficit in the basic human values and ethics. These are the essential ingredients for a happy life and a peaceful, progressive society at large. Could IIT Kharagpur introduce mandatory programs, short modules or retreats that focus on instilling these basic human values, ethics, and on building even emotional intelligence? I think Partho Ghosh Academy could play an important role over here. So my suggestion is that we need to focus on these issues as well.
Thank you, sir. And maybe we will hear from one more senior alumnus, and then we will close, because I want to have a separate section on, or separate session on younger alumni, interaction with the younger alumni. Professor Madhusudan Chakraborty.
Sir, unmute yourself, sir. No.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Sir, we can hear you, sir.
Huh?
Commander Jetli has come.
আপনি স্টার্ট করুন স্যার বলতে পারেন
अरे भाई आपकी के आई बुझते पारছি না তো অডিটরি না friends in the USA outside. I have spent my 50 years of my life in IIT Kharagpur, and IIT Kharagpur means a lot to me. I'm glad that a visionary leader has been appointed as the director of the institute. I look forward to a great innings with Suman as the helm of affairs. God bless you, Suman. I wish you all success.
Thank you, sir, and possibly we will get the comment from the commander, because commander is around. Commander, give us command and then we will stop.
यस सर स्टार्ट सर
मैं बोलूं उसमें
हाँ सर बोलिए सर फोन पे बोलिए सर फोन पे बोलिए
कमांडर आप फोन से बोलिए ना.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir. Sir, we can
Okay, can I speak something?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so my heartiest congratulations to Professor Suman Chakraborty. I am totally confident that IIT Kharagpur will go to great heights under your leadership. And I guarantee you, you will get full support from the alumni. And my feedback tells me you are getting very good support from the faculty and the non-teaching staff also. And the students also, they are very happy. So I hope that we are all with you. So as I have not heard your talk to the alumni, I just landed at Chennai. So got into the taxi. So I would not like to take much time. Many people must have spoken, I am sure, by now. So my best wishes for IIT Kharagpur. Or this time more, I am at your disposal. Anytime you can just call, I will be there.
Thank you, Commander, and you have been a great support for the institute. So, all good interactions should come to an end, and to everybody who is there, both in physical and online mode, we have a permanent YouTube presence of this interaction. So please tell your friends and colleagues and younger ones, if they have somehow missed the interaction, they can just click into the YouTube link and they can have a relook into this program. So on behalf of the IIT KGP family and on my personal behalf, I express my sincere gratitude and thanks. Cooperate to perform my duty with both mind and soul, with passion, empathy, and humility. And I promise that I will try to do the best of the job with sincerity and dedication. Thank you very much. এখন তো চা সিঙ্গারা খেলে পেট খারাপ হয়ে যাবে এত রাতে।
Well, thank you very much. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. Thank you to all.